Stuff. Here we are, Luciana.
Thank you. Mr. Oliver, it was in a dispatches programme that we saw on Channel 4 just over a year ago that compared and contrasted what was intended to be in the government's obesity strategy and what actually ended up in the final plan that was published. And there was a number of measures that didn't make it into that final drop. And you spoke about it on that programme. Measures including a measurable pledge to cut childhood obesity, plans to force food outlets to put calorie counts on menus, and that was scrapped. We saw plans to remove unhealthy food from checkouts dropped. And one of the areas you're particularly focused on, plans to curb advertising of junk food, ditched from that final plan. At the time, you said that the government's plan screams out that we don't care. And I wondered if you've changed your mind since then, and if you think that had that original draft been implemented, if we'd be in a very different place today.
Yeah, I mean, if I may go back, I was lucky enough to be welcomed into the creation of that Chapter 1 with Mr. Cameron. And a year and a half before then had voiced the logic and the reasonableness of a sugary drinks tax being the single largest source of sugar that our kids and teenagers are consuming. I knew there was a lot of work to be done. I felt along that whole journey that the room and the people in the room and the way that Mr. Cameron ran the room was really good, if I'm honest, and I was impressed. Obviously, with everything that happened with the election, Brexit, the world changed a little. Look, I think what I saw come out the other end was a massive disappointment, but it was a massive disappointment on I think we let British kids down, and I think we let British parents down. But you know what? I am optimistic about the new advisors. Thank God we got new ones. They seem bright and enthusiastic, and I think they care. And I think that our responsibility is to try and support them, get enough good stuff over the line with Mrs. May. But yes, I think, look, more than anything, and I failed English at school. When I look over the last childhood obesity strategy that was published, when I go through the basics of doing words with my 7-year-old son, there wasn't many doing words in that plan. It was a lot of suggestion, a lot of I would like, and a lot of the old rhetoric around personal responsibility and people that should do things. And I think that the world has changed since then. I think the cost of the NHS, as we creep towards 70 years, I think what we could lose, I think the concept of strong and stable and post-Brexit and optimism and being a really productive island as bigger, more robust developing countries get stronger, I think possibly now's the moment to land kind of what Hugh said. We need Chapter 2 to have the fundamentals of 3, 4 and 5. It can't be bit part. I think everyone, I think the childhood obesity strategy involves everyone, the home, businesses and civic life and government, and I think that if it's clear and bold and aspirational and has the capacity for longitudinal vision, we could get this, we could land this. And if I may just say, I don't know, or I hope you were aware that I worked for a year and a half to get all the opposition parties to agree to the fundamentals of what maybe a childhood obesity strategy, Chapter 2, would look like. We did get those signatures, it wasn't easy, but I think hopefully now that might help to clear the political way so Mrs. May can do what's right. So fingers crossed.